Okay.
How many people on Earth do you think could kill you that aren't trained?
Oh, very few.
Like,
that aren't trained?
that just you would meet on the street that could beat you?
People that aren't trained? No, it's not that many.
100, to be generous.
Maybe.
50.
Something along those lines. Yeah, there's a lot of violence in me, for sure. I don't know if it's genetic or learned or, I mean, to be prejudiced against myself. I look like a violent person. You know, if I didn't know me, and just even the way I'm built, not even just the working out part, just the size of my hands and like there's the width of my shoulders. Like there's most likely a lot of violence in my history, in my past, in my ancestry.
Joe is shockingly small.
He's not as short as they think that he is, though.
I think he's
taller than me.
No, he's not,
yes,
Annie. Because you and I are the same height, and when I go in to hug him, he's definitely shorter than me.
Joe Rogan is.
He's not 5'8". He's
He
absolutely not. Because
No,
I'm
he
5'8".
is.
I'm 5'8", and I go. I hug down.
So they're two sscientists.
Yeah.
They're talking about the provable benefits, heat shock proteins, cold shock proteins. And then I'm reading the comments where some guy was like, yeah, well, you guys aren't talking about is how much it costs to buy a sauna. You're making it seem like it's all free. And like what are you supposed to do? Like every fucking thing? Like, I'm sorry if you're broke.
I'm sorry if you're broke.
No, you have the conversation for people that can live that way.
Well, I mean, not just.
But it's just fun.
It's not. It's not impossible to achieve. We're not talking about buying a fucking Lamborghini.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that there's something wrong with talking about that stuff because other people can't afford it. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it's actually part of why people are miserable is because they're actually it's a ridiculous conversation. It's not like the way the earth and the experience of like competing for food and oxygen and living on Earth, you know, and living in society and just being a person. We've got to some altitude here where we're having some stupid conversations that are just, you know, should I do a cold plunge or a sauna? Like, what the fuck is that? It's not that, like, it's not you should be ashamed because people can't afford it. I feel sorry for the guy in that conversation. It's like it's a ridiculous trying to find just the right balance because there's nothing really challenging you. Because you don't have any real problems, and you're not on the earth. You're not standing on the earth anymore. You're in a bubble where you sort of like maybe I'll try this, and maybe I'll just do protein now, and I'll do. You know what I mean?
I love comedians, and that's our tribe. Our tribe is comedians, and there's not that many of us. The real number, it's probably 1,000 worldwide. Yes, that's the best vibe, man. We're all in this together. There's not that many of us.
Yeah, there's not that many of us.
There's like 1,000 of us on Earth. Like really legitimate comics, there's 1,000 of us on Earth. There's maybe 1,000 comedians on Earth worth of fuck.
I think even 1,000.
No, I don't.
500.
But maybe. Let's just get crazy and say maybe there's a bunch of people that I don't know about.
Yeah.
How many authors are there?
Oh, I know.
There's a lot more.
Musicians?
How many musicians? How many doctors? How many
Actors?
lawyers? Yeah, there's a lot more. The real number of like a real legitimate professional comedian that can go up and do an hour and kill and has like maybe a following and can tour clubs and theaters and then colleges and then you get to like big theaters and arenas.
Right.
You get to arena. How many of those are there?
Not many. Arenas, not many.
Not many.
Yeah.
Not many for theaters. How many for theaters? Is there
I would
50?
say
100?
Yeah.
Maybe 100?
Probably less, man. Probably
Right.
less. Theaters,
So
less.
in this country, I mean, you know, I've talked about it with many comics. Like, how many guys in this country would you recommend your friend go see?
Right. When you put it that way, it's not that many. Yeah.
200?
Yeah.
200 guys, maybe, if
Yeah.
you really wrote them all out?
Yeah.
It's not a lot of humans.
No.
I say 200 guys. There's a lot of girls in there, too.
Yeah.
A lot of very funny girls. 200 humans. But it's not that many. There's 1 million doctors in this country. There's there's a lot of occupations. It's a very small tribe of people that are comics.
Joe Rogan's biggest delusions are more outrageous than most fans realize. On the surface, he seems to have everything: fame, fortune, influence. Yet beneath that public persona lies a series of beliefs so wild they border on fantasy. Consider his own words about having damn you money and never needing to explain himself to anyone. It sounds impressive until you ask what that really means. Is it freedom or a shield against any criticism? Does possessing a fortune excuse delusion? Get ready to question everything you thought you knew and stay with me, because each of Joe's self-proclaimed truths unravels a little more of the man behind the mic, revealing the tension between perception and reality. And believe me, the truth behind these claims is far more fascinating than you'd expect. First up is his claim about unbeatable strength. Joe has repeatedly insisted that of the 8 billion people on Earth, only 50 untrained civilians could beat him in a fight. Let that sink in. 50 people out of billions. He frames it like a badge of honor, a measure of his dominance. But even his own guests chuckle at the arrogance. Think about every random stranger you've met. Grandparents, office workers, friends who never trained in any fighting discipline. He believes almost none of them pose any threat. It is an extraordinary level of overconfidence. It isn't just talk. Joe holds multiple black belts in martial arts, sure, but combat on the street is raw, unorthodox, and unpredictable. Real-life altercations depend on improvisation, endurance, and sheer will. Claiming that a tiny slice of humanity could overpower him reveals a man steeped in fantasy rather than real-world understanding. This bold claim blurs the line between confidence and delusion. Next is the idea that violence flows through his veins as genetic destiny. According to Joe, his DNA is laced with warrior bloodlines, a heritage of ancient fighters stamping violence onto his very being. He points to his build, broad shoulders and thick hands, as if those traits prove a savage lineage. This is more than pride. It feels like rewriting history to suit a narrative of self-importance. If everyone alive supposedly descends from ancestors who fought for survival, why boast exclusively about one's personal lineage? Tales of Vikings or medieval knights may thrill, but they are entertaining stories, not scientific proof. Genetics influence certain traits, yes, but they do not predetermine behavior in simplistic ways. This romantic notion of inherited violence elevates his personal myth while overlooking the collective brutality of human history. It turns family mythology into fact, blurring reality and legend in a way that makes you wonder which Joe Rogan you're listening to, the podcaster or the character he created. Romanticizing ancestry does not make it documented proof. It simplifies a complex science into a catchy soundbite. Then there is his persistent height exaggeration. Joe claims to stand at 5 feet 8 inches on his podcast, complete with tailor-made suits that wouldn't fit a standard retailer. Yet footage of him beside barefoot fighters and the testimony of friends suggests he's closer to 5 feet 5 or 6. Calling himself taller might seem trivial, but it speaks to a deeper unwillingness to accept straightforward facts. The height debate may not affect guest lineups, but it shines a light on an ego that demands superiority in every dimension, even vertical space. Instead of making peace with his natural stature, Joe opts for extra inches. This small fib reveals the potency of image crafting. It shows how far someone will stray from honesty to protect an idealized self. And the widespread jokes about his height are not mere teasing. They are reality checking, a public measure of how inflated personal claims can become. Accepting truth over image is harder than it sounds. A fourth delusion is Joe's belief in an infallible bullshit detector. He often boasts about his ability to sniff out falsehoods instantly, declaring himself immune to flimsy arguments. In practice, however, he's been regularly corrected in real time by guests and experts. Remember the volcanic eruption debate when he claimed a single volcano released more carbon dioxide than all human activity ever? He was immediately fact-checked. If he had a flawless filter, those moments would not happen. Yet Joe continues to tout his BS meter as though every slip-up vanishes. This disconnect between self-perception and reality is telling. It suggests that selective memory and eagerness to believe one's own hype can overshadow critical thinking. For someone who prides himself on skepticism, repeated mistakes expose a man more comfortable with entertaining ideas than rigorously testing them. His detector might excel at catching trendy buzz, but when it comes to scientific or historical accuracy, it peeks out the window rather than plugging the gaps. His selective amnesia on mistakes shows that pride often clouds judgment. His next delusion dives into wellness extremes, the obsession with cold plunges and saunas. Joe paints these rituals as essential rites for physical and mental supremacy, often citing Lex Fridman and Andrew Huberman research. But he rarely underscores the caveat about accessibility and practicality. The average person does not own a dedicated cold chamber or a home sauna. Even when Louis C.K. gently mocks him about affordability, Joe doubles down, dismissing those concerns as missing the point. It illustrates how privilege can masquerade as genuine insight. Wellness should not come packaged as an exclusive club. Joe's unwavering conviction turns curiosity into an echo chamber rather than an open conversation about health. Delusion number 6 is that he stands as an unwavering champion of free speech. Joe's persona thrives on the idea that he welcomes every viewpoint, no matter how controversial. Yet behind the microphone, his legal team famously attempted to remove critical content, and his comedy club demands phones locked away to prevent any recordings. If free speech is about open dialogue, controlling the environment to silence dissent feels hypocritical. It is like celebrating democracy while limiting voting to your favorite supporters. These contradictions highlight a selective approach. Embrace speech when it aligns with you. Challenge it when it does not. That kind of intellectual gatekeeping contradicts the foundational principle of free exchange. When you promise an unfiltered platform, but then censor criticism of your own work, you reveal a tension between principle and personal comfort. True open dialogue survives even the hardest criticisms. Finally, Joe's claim of belonging to a tiny tribe of elite comedians further shows his penchant for exclusivity. He estimates there are maybe 1,000 true professionals worldwide who can command an audience for an hour and kill it. That number might sound impressive until you consider the countless performers earning respect on stages everywhere. By minimizing the field, Joe elevates his status to one among a select few, reinforcing a sense of exceptionalism. Yet comedy is fluid and subjective. Audiences vary across cultures, venues, and online platforms. Someone who falls flat in one arena might thrive in another. Dismissing the broader diversity of comedic voices ignores the complexity of art forms and overlooks the thousands of rising talents reshaping humor today. When you claim the stage as an exclusive club, you undermine the communal spirit of comedy. Comedy thrives in diversity, not in elitist circles. In the end, Joe Rogan's biggest delusions reveal a man who loves to blur the lines between myth and man. His charisma and insights have earned him a massive audience, but his self-ascribed truths tell another story. A journey through selective memories, inflated claims, and strategic image crafting. These delusions do not diminish his accomplishments. Instead, they humanize him, reminding us that even modern icons wrestle with ego, perception, and the need for validation. The real magic happens when scrutiny meets sincerity, when bold statements are tempered with humility. So, before you take any grand proclamation at face value about fights, genetics, height, truth detection, wellness hacks, free speech, or comedic glory, pause and question what is real and what is performance. Because the most enlightening moments often come from examining our own beliefs, not just accepting someone else's. Understanding these delusions offers a rare glimpse into his true self. It reminds us that no one, not even celebrities, is immune to self-deception. Challenge assumptions daily.